Hi guys, so Padsmith sent me a few of their newest mousepads for a review a while back, and luckily I managed to use them enough to form an opinion before my doctor kindly suggested that I should stop using cloth pads for medical reasons. But here I have the Crucible V2 Pro, the standard Crucible V2 with the CR foam base, and their Genesis Pro. The Crucible Pro and standard Crucible differ mostly with their bases. Padsmith's new Pro base is a very dense, quite thin alpha cell base that sticks to your desk like crazy. The CR foam is then softer and it doesn't have that same crazy stickiness, but it does stay on my desk really well also. The CR foam base is slightly thicker, measuring around 3.5 millimeters, while the Pro models are only 3 millimeters thick to provide a really firm gaming experience. The stitching on all of them is done really well. It's either at the level of the surface or slightly below, so you won't feel it in use at all. The size of these is the standard 490 x 420 millimeters. The firmness of the Pro base is around the same as with Artisan's mid Poron, so you can use these with dot skates without the skates sinking into the pad at all, and they are really consistent to use when you get used to the firmness. The CR foam base is probably between Artisan Soft and X Soft, if I would guess. The cloth used in the Crucible Pro V2 and the Crucible V2 is this very interesting, slightly textured, smooth fabric that on the Pro shows the artwork really beautifully. It is quite smooth to the touch and kinda reminds me of something like the Kurosan Samurai, but it's still very different. The glide it provides is very balanced with these core pads on my GPX2 decks, but you feel that slight tug of static friction when you start moving your mouse. The version with the CR foam base feels slightly more controlled on dynamic friction because of that extra plushiness on the base. Overall, speed-wise, the Crucible belongs to the faster side of balance pads, so is it even a balance pad then? Well, overall from the top of my head, I would say it's between the Artisan Zero and Hayate Otsu speed-wise. Okay, then we have the Genesis Pro with this insanely good looking artwork. Like, I'm not a huge fan of skulls, but this is truly something else. The fabric they have used here almost gives this pad like a 3D effect, and the black and white have some very nice contrast between them. The surface is very smooth. That is very typical for speed pads, but with the firm base this feels very unique to use. With core pads it has speed that is almost Raiden-like, but it still seems to have some amount of static friction to not feel like an ice hockey table. The static friction here as well is increased if you put more force on your mouse, and it's very prevalent with something like Obsidian air dots. I don't know why, but this surface really doesn't play well with the Obsidian dots, but with softer PTFE skates like core pads it feels very nice to use. And honestly, I think this definitely belongs to the top with other top tier speed pads like Raiden, Infinity My Speed, Lethal Gaming Gear Neptune and others. It's definitely not a copy of either one of those, and it's a completely unique feeling take on a speed pad, offering slightly more static friction and a super firm base. And from these three, this was definitely the one I used the most and the one I performed the best with. That being said, all are fantastic cloth pad offerings, and for those with a smaller budget I can definitely recommend their cheaper lineup as well with the CR foam base. But yeah, in conclusion, fantastic stuff from Padsmith. And that is it for this one. See you on the next one. Goodbye.